And once the comment period closes, the FDA has 6 months to finalize the rule. So let's look at this. If the rules are released in or by April of this year, the final rule would be issued by the end of 2021. And if the proposed rules are released in or later than May, then the final rule may not be issued until 2022. Then after the rules are released, the manufacturers of those OTC devices have to provide an OTC approved hearing aid. So it'll take a little additional time until then. So this gives us a little time to prepare for OTC and how it may impact our practices. And then also it gives us time to start thinking about our talking points, our comment periods during the comment periods. So we need you to submit comments when the comment period opens. The FDA needs input from stakeholders, and the FDA must respond to comments. IHS will coordinate with members during the comment period to support our position, and we will show you how to personalize comment letters. And those personalized comment letters will definitely have a stronger impact when addressing the FDA. Just like with your legislators, personalized letters always work better. We know that consumer electronics industry and others will be commenting, so it's important for us to do our part. And as the time goes near, IHS will help you have a say in this process. So we will keep you posted and help guide you along the way, because we definitely need you to be a part of this whole process. The Fit to Serve bill, as we all know, in 2016, IHS achieved its first goal, which was the passing of the Fit to Serve bill. That was our first bill that we ever had passed. So a huge kudos to Alyssa Parody, our government affairs coordinator. And this bill authored the VA to hire hearing aid specialists. Now, IHS went back to the legislative arena last year, and we partnered with the Senate and the House VA committee leaders in 2020 to attain passage of language of Senate Bill 785. And this bill would direct the VA to, within 180 days of the bill's enactment, establish qualifications for hearing aid specialists to work for the VA. And by September 30th, 2022, appoint at least one licensed hearing aid specialist at all VA medical centers, and submit an annual report to Congress assessing the VA's progress in hiring hearing aid specialists, as well as any potential conflicts or obstacles affecting hiring. On October 17th, 2020, the Senate bill was signed into law. So that's the second bill that IHS has gotten signed into law. That's a difficult task. And matter of fact, when you guys were kids, maybe some of you will remember those ABC commercials, watching, cartoons on ABC in the mornings. And they had the Schoolhouse Rock, I think it was, and that song, "I'm Just a Bill on Capitol Hill." Well, it went through the process on how difficult it is to pass a bill. And we've gotten 2 bills passed, and they were good public policy bills that helped our veterans. And so congratulations again to Alyssa Parody and team for doing such a marvelous job. So what's the next step for IHS? Well, it's to provide input to the VA on technical qualifications for hearing aid specialists. I want to explain that because in Washington, you guys are pretty unique. So far, there's no real consistent technical qualification for hearing aid specialists besides the board certification in hearing instrument sciences, but they're also going to be using state licensing laws to determine the qualifications for hearing aid specialists. But in Washington, I think the minimum requirement is the AAA degree. So if you have that AAA degree here in Washington, you're going to be golden if you want to work for the VA. That's a great requirement. It's a great qualification. We're also going to be pursuing changes to the audiology directive, which is under development, to lift restrictions as to when the VA can contract with hearing aid specialists. And our next bullet goes along with that, because we're going to be pursuing ways to use the community care program to deliver hearing aids through VA contracting. So in other words, there was a program that if a veteran lived over 40 miles or 40 minutes away from a VA and had difficulty getting that type of transportation to go there, the VA uses community partners, and we would like to be some of those community partners to contract and dispense those hearing aids. So IHS continues to work with the VA, and we're making some progress. Okay, Medicare coverage of hearing aids. Wow, federal work group committees, federal work groups and committees and consumers have been advocating for years for Medicare coverage of hearing aids to improve access and adoption. IHS is preparing for this debate, and we've established our priorities and pursued support for these positions. In 2019, the U.S. House of Representatives passed legislation to expand Medicare Part B to include hearing aids and related hearing tests. The Senate did not take up the bill. So remember, it was a majority Democrat, strong majority, and then there was a strong majority of Republicans in the Senate. And so it just didn't go anyplace, it phased out. But anyways, all these years, all these federal work groups and committees and consumer groups have been advocating for this, and it finally started showing up in legislation. IHS is advocating that, number one, hearing aid specialists be added to the list of Medicare providers to provide hearing evaluations and hearing aid dispensing services, including oral rehabilitation. So as if you recall, in 2019, when that bill was introduced, it did not include hearing aid specialists. It was audiologists only as providers. And since then, we've still been walking the halls, been communicating via Zoom, email, and conference calls with legislative staff, our legislative friends, our congressional friends about this issue. And coverage includes both hearing aids. We're advocating for this coverage to include both hearing aids and hearing aid dispensing services, including those services consistent with the standard of care. And that also hearing aids be defined to, at a minimum, include capability for assistive device connectivity, interoperability, and beneficiaries to be granted the ability to top up. In other words, if Medicare has a plan that covers $1,000 on a set of hearing aids, but they want a better level of technology that we can balance bill, or they can upgrade to that better level of technology and not just accept $1,000 benefit. I'm not saying that's what the benefit's going to be, but whatever it is, they can upgrade from that way. Hearing aid specialists and audiologists be treated equally as it relates to requirements for or against a physician order prior to dispensing hearing aids. So as we all know, some insurance plans require prescription, and we want to be treated the same if there's a prescription needed or not needed. Now, if you guys can read the bullet points on this slide, I would like to give you an update that has been going on very recently. I think that while you're reading the bullet points, I would like to share this update with you. Recently, IHS sent an email. If you remember, you've received that just this last week, stating that if the bill is reintroduced into one of the House with the same language where hearing aid specialists are not providers, think about this. Many of us are going to lose up to 90% of our patient client base, and that would be those Medicare beneficiaries. Now, IHS, of course, is all over this. We're very concerned about this. And we are in discussions with many of our friends in Congress about the inclusion of hearing aid specialists. And right now, IHS is stepping up our lobbying efforts, and we need help. All of our advocacy work relies on your voluntary donations. And again, if this bill resurfaces, IHS has already been in conversation with legislators for the inclusion of hearing instrument specialists. And currently, we have stepped up our lobbying efforts. And doing this comes at a significant cost. So your donations would be appreciated. So last night, when I was going through the PowerPoint, I went and tried this link on the bottom to donate, to get to that link, and it didn't work for me. And I tried it several times, and I tried it on a couple of the devices that I brought up here. I'm in Seattle currently. I'm going to see my daughter this weekend, and so nothing worked. So if you would like to donate to our Advocacy Alliance, which helps cover the cost of our advocacy efforts, you can text my cell phone. My cell phone number is 951-834-2020. That's 951-834-2020. Text your name and the amount, and I will have IHS reach out to you to collect that donation. Now, we have so many important issues that we are advocating for this year, and this is so important to me as not only a business owner, but as a hearing aid specialist, that I will personally, whatever you donate today, I will personally match up to $1,000 of your donations that you text to me today. I'll contribute up to $1,000. And I mean, we have a lot of work to do, and it's going to be very costly to do this. And we're really counting on donations. And of course, during the COVID year, because we're not in person, donations were down. And so we need your help on this. We've got a daunting task ahead of us. By the way, just so that you know, none of the money that we raise in our advocacy efforts for this alliance is used to pay for political fundraisers. We use this to cover the cost of our efforts. We believe our good public policy alone are good enough to go forward, and it has worked. And so none of your money is going to go to a politician, if that makes you feel any better. Thank you for supporting International Hearing Society. Next up, we have our business tools and professional development. Again, COVID didn't stop IHS from being productive. We were doing a lot of things to keep you guys, to make your life easier and to contribute to your businesses and to contribute to you as a professional in this industry. The distant learning for professionals in hearing healthcare sciences course. This is a fantastic book, trainer manual. It's been well utilized and very helpful. And I just have to give a big thank you to Tammy Miller of Costco and Sandy Hubbard of the Washington Hearing Society's Hearing Aid Specialist Training Program for utilizing our distant learning. So thank you very much. This is a wonderful program. Now, the ILE, or the International Licensing Exams test prep, here in Washington State, the International Licensing Exam is the test for licensure. And this prep tool that's on your screen in front of you will help prepare those who are about to take the test. And so when it comes time to take the test, you should go to ihsinfo.org/test prep, and you will be prepared. It will help perfect your knowledge and help you pass the test. And it's worth the cost. Nobody wants to go take the test. Hey, this is a focal point. This is a new thing that came out during COVID, and this is absolutely fantastic. And you all should be looking into this if you're an IHS member. The IHS launched its newest educational offering, this focal point, featuring 15 minutes of presentation by an expert speaker and 15 minutes of question and answers. Focal points offer fast doses of helpful information that you can take back to your business. And you can take it back to your business immediately. And so these on-demand videos are available exclusively for IHS members. Hey, by the way, my cell phone is just going nuts with donations right now. I can't wait to look at all these and to pass them on to IHS. You guys have always been such a thoughtful and so generous, such a generous group. I really appreciate it. Again, we have a daunting task. But getting back to this slide, this is really a phenomenal program that we're offering, this focal point. I hope that as a member, you're taking advantage of this and going to this. There are plenty of reasons to be board certified. And here, if we look at some of the checkpoints, it increases confidence, recognition, and client awareness. It enhances career advancement and earning potential. And it demonstrates the commitment to excellence and the desire to excel beyond normal requirements. One thing not mentioned is that many of you who do different, who are providers for different insurance companies, when it comes time to credentialing, which happens in my mind, it seems like it happens way too often. I'm always doing credentialing in my office. But one of the things they ask about is if you're board certified, if you have some type of board certification. And the insurance companies recognize the National Board Certification in Hearing Instrument Sciences. This is a wonderful credential to have. So if you don't have one, you can learn more about this at nbc-ihs.com. Again, IHS offers its members resources that are just absolutely fabulous. The compliance plan and development guide is a must-have resource for IHS members. Having a process.
Uh-oh. We might have lost him.
I think we lost Mr. Tucker. So much for hotel Wi-Fi, right?
Maybe so. I'll check with him.
Okay.
He's probably talking away to himself.
I know.
Maybe. Yeah. Can you just try and jump back on? I think so much for hotel Wi-Fi, Rick said. No, you're not right now. It just kind of froze up and then we lost you. So if you just want to try and reconnect. Oh, just now. In fact. Yeah, that'll be fine. No worries. Don't stress it. Good. Yeah, good. But
Still waiting for Don to come back in.
yeah, I'm on the phone with him right now. He's connecting up.
Okay. So we really did practice this.
No, this is one of those 24-hour services on the hotel internet that must have just expired. So.
Oh, okay. So
yeah, Rick, he's there. Can you let him in now, Rick?
He's in.
Hey,
Okay.
buddy, sorry about that. Wow. So I'm at the Hilton Inn or the Garden Suites Hilton Inn here in downtown Seattle, and I pay for the premium, but I'm supposed to get it for free as a Diamond member, and I was disconnected. I'm really upset, and I want a free cocktail. But the bar is closed.
So do we.
All right, so sorry about it. I do apologize. What a bummer. Okay, so that compliance plan is something is a must-have, and if you guys are business owners, you guys really need to get this thing. It is wonderful. We also have this is again, IHS is going out to take care of you and your business and your employees. IHS offers a health insurance option, and so if you visit the member site at myhome.ihsinfo.org, you'll find additional information. Are you guys seeing the screen?
Yep.
Okay, great, thank you. So visit that site, and listed on your screen are many additional resources IHS has provided for members. You can see all the resources there. And hey, by the way, this is a picture from our last in-person event, which is taken after the chapter leadership meeting in beautiful Nashville, Tennessee, at the Opryland Hotel. Unbelievable property. But can you see my mouse?
Yep.
On the screen? So hey, look, there's past President Connie Fury, who's on your licensing board. There's International Hearing Society past President Rick Giles, and now Washington Hearing Society President Giles. And so you see, if you go to our in-person events when when they happen, hopefully it will happen in San Diego this year, you get to hang out with these rock stars of our industry. And it's really a great thing. So we hope to see you guys there. Now, with all the regulatory activity of OTC, and now remember the regulatory, OTC was a piece of legislation and it went to the FDA, which became a regulatory issue. And also the legislative activity of Fit to Serve and Medicare expansion. It is important to have your finger on the pulse of our profession. And to do so, please join the Washington Hearing Society and join the International Hearing Society. Do we have any questions? Do we have time for questions?
I think we're up, Don. We've got a little bit of business meeting to take care of. So thank you so
All
much
right.
for being present. And if there are questions, please chat them to me and I will forward them to Don and he can respond to you in person.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your time. And this weekend, don't forget to change your clocks. Thank you.
All right, here is the correct business meeting agenda for today. And we have done the roll call of officers. We've had Don's report. And we're looking for the minutes from last meeting. Maureen, do you have those?
What happened to her?
I don't know. She was there a second ago.
Do you need someone to propose the meeting minutes or?
Yeah. They were mailed out to everyone. They were mailed out to all members on Tuesday, I believe. It was Monday or Tuesday, probably Tuesday.
Are you looking for?
Oh, I'm unmuted now. Sorry.
Okay.
I thought you had to unmute me. Do you want me to continue with that?
Yes.
Okay. So our summer meeting was August 22nd. It was our first ever virtual meeting. Rick Giles opened the meeting with the call to order, the roll call. Then Don Tucker from International Hearing Society spoke. He thanked us for having the summer meeting and explained how the IHS works with the state societies, discussed rulemaking at federal and state levels, the COVID-19 response, Medicare coverage for hearing aids with their continuing work with that, and international standardization for practices and professional and practice development. Then was Brenda Haltom with the treasurer's report, and she reported that we had $123,040 cash on hand compared to $114,000 cash on hand in 2019. So the financial position improved in 2020. The biggest boost came from HAS program enrollments. And at that time, we had 8 new enrollments. In 2019, the summer meeting auction income was $18,805. And the greatest financial concern really was that membership in the organization was down by about 30 people. Next, Brenda gave the tri-state report, which she confirmed that the 2021 meeting would be canceled due to COVID, but they were still planning to have the 50th anniversary celebration in 2022, most likely in Portland. There was some discussion then about how the spring meeting would be handled, and here we are with the Northwest Summit. Then Rick Giles reported on behalf of Tammy regarding the Education Committee that 10 hours of CEUs were available at the summer meeting, and that we had excellent speakers at that meeting. Sandy Hubbard gave the HAST report that she reported there were 8 new students enrolled in the HAST program in 2020, and that 6 of those graduates would be taking the licensing exam, and 2 students had dropped out due to moving out of state, and that 5 of the current 16 students were working in practices at that time. We also had some discussion about whether a candidate had to be 18 or 21 years of age to take the licensing exam. And at that point, none of the students had had a problem with age taking the exam. Also still looking for supervisors. So, and there are qualified applicants who are looking for supervisors in their area. Rick Giles reported there were no new members to report at that time. Connie Fury was elected a new or appointed new board member on the Washington State Department of Health Board of Hearing and Speech, and that board was having virtual quarterly meetings. Also, current rulemaking focus on the HIV education requirement changes, and also regarding the new T-coil assisted living or assisted listening legislation. There was also some discussion about the availability of masks, whether cloth or other, for clinicians and clients, and also we discussed ways to help our customers use a mask with their hearing aids. There was a reading of the spring 2020 meeting minutes, and the minutes were approved and the meeting was adjourned.
Thank you very much. Additions or corrections to the minutes? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
I motion to accept them as presented.
Who was that?
Mark
Mark?
Pierce.
Is there a second?
A second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded that we approve the minutes as presented. All in favor, say aye. Raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. So moving on to the next order of business, we have a treasurer's report, and I believe Connie Fury was going to give us some numbers.
Yes, thank you. So WHS was profitable in 2020. Our P&L does show a profit this year of about $10,000. Our main income came again from our HAS program, approximately $50,000. Approximately $24,000 came from our summer meeting and auction. And we had about $3,400 from membership dues. Total income of $77,650. Our expenses for the year were $67,650. Most of these expenses were costs related to the HAS program for management, insurance, fees, etc. Our cash on hand, our cash on hand at the end of 2019 was approximately $117,000. Our cash on hand as of today is $141,450. So we've grown, that's great. This is good news, but we still have to keep up our hard work, and we need more members, as Maureen, that seems to be the common topic. Please, if you're not a member, join us. We need membership to survive. That That's about it, Rick. Oh, I was gonna just say that normally we do pass out a copy at our meetings of the P&L and balance sheet. We didn't do that this year, but as a member, you are entitled to that information. So if you would like a copy of the P&L or balance sheet, you can contact myself or our bookkeeper, Heather Dillon. Her email address is heatherd@washingtonhearing.org. Is that right, Rick?
That's
Yep.
correct.
Okay. I think that's it.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
We gave you a quick legislative update. The current legislative session opened January 11th. It's scheduled to close at this point on April 25th. There is one piece of legislation that was introduced this year. It was House Bill 1043, which had to do with an audiology compact, which means that audiologists would be able to receive licensure in a group of states with paying a much smaller fee than they would if they're individually licensed. The cutoff date for that to be out of the House of Origin, which was the House, was March 9th. It did not make it out of committee, so that bill, for all practical purposes, is dead for the year. Nothing's ever dead, and even after session, but for all practical purposes, I don't think we'll see that show back up again. Connie, you want to give us a short update on the Department of Health?
Short update. Really, the only thing I have, I think, today is the new our new contracts. And so this is going to, if you want wording or the language that is supposed to be in our new contracts, and I believe, Rick, if I'm right, this goes into effect as of pretty much right now, the middle of March, and they are giving a 30-day grace period for us to get this in order. Is that right?
The rule took effect on February 18th.
February 18th, and they give us 30 days.
You have 30 days to do that. We will forward a copy of the new rule of the correct language to you at the end of this day's meeting.
Yeah,
as a copy of the telehealth rules that are coming. So
yeah, if
Could
you
we
want to write
also
this
just-
down,
Could we post a sample when we're done of the contract language? Just, we'll put it on our website under
absolutely.
forms.
Yeah.
yeah,
Forms
I've got it. Yeah, I've got it right here. If you want to, you can actually Google this. It's WHAC 246-828-290.
And
And
that's
basically-
WAC 246-828.
290. And basically what it does, you all are very well of our contracts. Section 1 cancellation, Section 2 rescission 30 days, Section 3 extension. Now they're adding a Section 4 as it relates to notice of hearing assistive technologies, and we will be having a class on that later. Rick, I don't know. Unfortunately, I think with this Section 4, it's going to make our contracts 3 pages long now.
I will forward you a PDF that fits on one page.
The only other thing I have from the Department of Health is they are resuming testing for our students. So I think the next test is coming up on March 26th.
Yep.
So that's good news too.
Okay, Connie, what about Tri-State?
Yeah, I was hoping Dawn or
Bob?
Chris could help me out on this. I mean, Bob or Chris. Okay, so I really don't have an update on Tri-State. I know that they are still trying to have their.
Hi, Connie. I was muted, so now I'm unmuted. So we do have Embassy Suites in Portland in the works for scheduling to have an in-person meeting in March. I don't have the specific dates at this time, but we are planning on having a meeting the 50th anniversary, and it would be in Portland in 2022.
Thanks,
Awesome to have a huge crowd.
Huge party.
So old business, we have hearing aid specialist training program update. Sandy?
Very quickly, we're doing fantastic with the school. We currently have 16 enrolled. We have 8 that graduated in 2020. They're all scheduled to take the practical exam March 25th and 6th, as Connie just mentioned. I also want to point out, so overall, we just got our license renewal again for 2021. We go through a review with the Workforce Training Board on that every year. It's actually a fairly extensive process because of our licensure through vocational, as a vocational training school. We had no issues with that, with the renewal, when we maintain a really strong relationship with them. The cool thing is we have, I believe, 6 or 7 students right now that are attending this meeting over the next few days. I don't know if they're on right now, but we have 3 from the WHS program, and we also have 3 from Spokane Falls. And I should say 4 because Don Tucker, I don't know if you guys know, who just presented, he's actually enrolled in the Spokane Falls program to obtain his degree. So that's just really cool. And I wanted to thank Chantel Hammers. She's our audiologist, and she's the program director at Spokane Falls for the hearing aid specialist program. I believe she might be on right now, and we're glad to have you all participating. And is there anything that you would like to update us on that's happening at SFCC?
Thank you, Sandy. Yes, thanks for having us and inviting the students to this. That's spectacular. I'm not used to having one of my current students present at the WHS meeting, so that's a new one. Shout out to all current students and graduates who are on. I saw a lot of grads. So we currently have 9 second-year students who are scheduled to graduate in June. They were with us last spring during the COVID situation where we couldn't have students on campus. But they hung in there, and we used like an audiometer simulator, and we sent out like little model ears so they could practice their ear impression technique without doing it on actual people for the time being. So they made it through, and then we're excited to have 15 first-year students, and we get to see them next week because they'll all be on campus. So we just had our second years last week, and now we'll be having the first years.
That's great.
So I'll toss it back to you. Thank you.
Okay,
Yeah, thanks so much.
Thanks for being on and joining us. We really appreciate it.
Sure.
I missed Tammy Miller and her education report. So Tammy, if you're on, would you jump in and give us a report on education?
Sure. Just wanted to kind of let you guys know that IHS has been, working very diligently on updating educational materials. We formed several committees, subcommittees to help the IHIS group to improve the educational resources we have. There's some updates to the distance learning course, the trainer manual, some things like that we're working on. Constant improvements with the ILE test prep. They're doing a lot of those mini snippet workshops on the IHS website. I think they call it like a focal point. Those are great resources if you have 15 minutes and just want to grab a little bit of education. Additionally, you will want to know that IHS is planning to go forward as of now with the 2021 convention and expo. That is planned to be in San Diego. Of course, COVID kind of is running point on that, but we expect to see that happen The 69th Annual Convention Expo is planned for August 12th through the 14th in San Diego, which is one of my favorite cities in California. Let's see, what else do we have here for you? Oh, the Tinnitus Care Provider Certificate Program, which is something that we have the pleasure of Dr. Tyler presenting for us on Saturday. He's our closing speaker. There is some discussion about trying to move that course online, because I know that has been a weekend event, but with COVID, we've had to rethink how we do education. And so they're looking at that as well. So I think that would be an excellent resource that all providers could benefit from, provided their laws allow them to provide some counseling and just management strategies for tinnitus for the people we serve. And then lastly, the one thing that's most important to the Washington members is the practical exam committee. They've been meeting diligently. Sandy serves on that committee. I've missed several of the meetings. I've had a lot of other things going on, but I know it's in good hands because we've got a voice there with Sandy looking out for our best interests to make sure we have competent hearing aid specialists in the profession. So I think that some of the workshops we have planned for that are moving along nicely. We've involved the psychometrician that helped with the written exam to help deal with the tasks and things that are going to happen with the updated practical exams. So those are just some things that are coming down the pipe. I guess the one last thing that's not quite yet published, we are still working on some best practice guideline statements from the International Hearing Society that will be available to you. You can find those best practice guidelines out on the IHS website. And those are typically under the professional development section. So they're in the process of updating that website over time. And those of you who may have known Joy Wilkins, who was the Director of Professional Development, this year was a difficult year for Joy. She lost her parents with COVID and had to step back and to spend time taking care of her family. So we don't have Joy at the helm running the education, but she has a competent staff that she's been working with. And Sierra Sharp is the education manager who's been running point on a lot of these committee meetings, and they're doing a great job. So just want to let you know, education is still alive and well with the International Hearing Society, as well as Washington Hearing Society. We have a voice with the committee members. Any questions about education?
Tammy, I thank you for putting together such a wonderful program for the Northwest Territory. Outstanding.
Thank you.
Outstanding.
I'm glad you guys are enjoying the speakers so far. Hopefully we'll continue to do more online options. This is kind of a fun way to do it.
It is. Moving on for election of officers. Our current slate of officers is on the screen. Currently, Connie Fury is past president. I am current president. Gary Lathrop is vice president. Our secretary, Maureen McGovern, is dropping off the board this year. Her term has expired, and she has indicated the fact that she's going to be moving on. Our treasurer position is vacant at this point. I don't know, most of you may be aware, maybe some of you not, but Brenda Haltram, our treasurer, passed away from health issues not related to COVID in right about the Thanksgiving time. So we miss her dearly, and we are going to be looking for someone to replace. She's going to be tough to do that. Current board members, Kristen Enzi, her term goes till 2022. Becky Winter's term goes to 2022. Leo Altman is technically going to expire this year, but he has agreed to run for one more term. Paula Webster is also dropping off the board, and we thank both of them for their assistance, and we'll get to that in just a minute. Our executive assistant is Heather Dillon, and she is paid staff member, but she is very, very, very part-time. And our HAS program manager is Sandy Hubbard, and education chair is Tammy Miller. So that is the current list of officers. We're going to hold an election for a 2-year term for board of directors. Leo Altman has agreed to run another term. Terry Mongrain and Elizabeth Miller, and then we have one open position that we'll probably be appointing later. So if you have any interest at all in serving on the Washington Hearing Society board, send me an email and we will chat about what the responsibilities are. I'd like to, first of all, give the 2 or 3 people that are up for election a moment to introduce themselves. And so Elizabeth Miller, if you're on, would you please unmute yourself and tell us a little bit about who you are, where you've been, and what you're doing now?
Okay, I'm here. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yeah.
Perfect. I'm Elizabeth Miller, and I now work at Hearing by Design, Rick Giles' previous practice. I purchased it last year, a month before COVID. And yeah, so I've been practicing since 2012. I was trained under my dad, Emmanuel Bollier, who owns an office in Florence, Oregon. And I actually just purchased their practice as of this year. So that's been exciting. And Rick told me that I should join and become more active. So here I am.
Thank you. And I could not have found a better person to buy my practice. So if you're interested in selling your practice, talk to Elizabeth. She may be wanting to expand her business. Terry Mongrain, are you on the line?
Yes, I am.
Would you give us a brief introduction?
Yeah, hi, Terry Mongrain, a recent WHS HAST graduate, able to squeak through and get my practical exam done at the end of September. So fully licensed now in the state of Washington, and working in East Wenatchee at Hometown Hearing with Carl and Cheryl Aarons, and a number nowhere near any of your numbers. So
welcome, Terry. Welcome, Elizabeth. Leo, I know you're an old hat, but just give us a little brief bio.
Okay, I think I'm unmuted. Thank you, Rick. Well, it's a pleasure to be in this business. I started in '83, so yeah, I've been around a while. I live in Ellensburg. We have a small office. Bill Devaney and I are partners here. And I feel very strongly that what we do as a society for hearing aid specialists is very important. We need all of your support. And I'm so grateful to see younger people stepping up for the board. Thanks.
And I neglected to mention, I'm sorry for that. Everyone that's licensed as a hearing aid provider, regardless of whether you're a hearing aid specialist or an audiologist, is welcome in the Washington Hearing Society fold. We have many audiologists that are members, many hearing aid specialists that are members, and our primary responsibility is to represent you in front of the legislature by lobbying. We also have a strong presence with the Department of Health at their board meetings. One or two or three of us are present at every board meeting so that we can see things coming down the pike and give you notification. So if you're not a member of the Washington Hearing Society and you paid $125 to join this meeting, you get a discount of $50 by joining the society before the end of March. So we would welcome you as member. Membership is only as strong as the membership, and so it's very important that we grow this organization. At one point we had well over 100 members, but with a lot of companies now, major companies buying out smaller practices, our numbers are dropping. And whether or not you're a business owner, or whether you are just or whether you're a specialist or an audiologist working for a business owner or a corporation, we would welcome you to join. So I have the three now that are open for election. I would take a nomination from the floor, if there are any nominations from the floor. All right, hearing none, I would entertain a motion to approve all three members as Washington Hearing Aid Society board members for the years of 2021 and the rest of 2021, 2022, and the first part of 2023.
Do you need a second?
We need a motion.
You need the motion first.
I make a motion that we accept all three nominations
Is there a second?
as presented.
Is there a second?
I second.
Okay, and Plotnick second?
Again, second.
Okay, so it's been moved and seconded that Leo Altman, Terry Mongrain, and Elizabeth Miller are elected to the Washington Hearing Society board. All in favor, say aye. Raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing no opposition, the motion is passed. And I'm going to turn this now over to Connie Fury, and she has a couple of things she needs to say.
Thank you, Rick. I was going to talk a little bit about membership and our need for members, but I think that Rick and Leo actually just covered that just fine. We definitely need your membership. Just wanted to say thank you so much for our board members that are going off. Maureen, thank you so much. You've done a great job as secretary. Yay. And Paula Webster, thank you so much. And I don't know how well you guys can see this, but it's still covered, but I have ordered plaques to present to Maureen and to Paula. And Leo, I actually got you one, so I don't know if I should hold on to this or send it to you now. But anyway, thank you so much for serving. It's very, very important. That's it. Thank you.